How are you doing? Welcome to the Cinema 4D tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to make an awesome text animation. So what we just need first, we can create a plane, and we're going to work with the plane, or just go for a landscape. We have a landscape, and so the next thing we want to do is we want a text. Okay, so we're going to work with this text. We can just name that maybe as should we put it YouTube? We're going to name it as YouTube, and then so we got to scale that down just to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Just bring that up out there. So use your alt and your left click, so you just move things around. Okay, so we have that. So we have YouTube. What we want to do is that click on the landscape, just bring it down a little. So we want this YouTube to drop down, so when it drops down, it shatters into pieces. Okay, so we just click on the YouTube, click on YouTube, right click on its tag, just click on rigid body. So we want a simulation tag of when we play it, you see it passes through the plane. So we need to make this plane a collider body, so nothing passes through it. So when we go back, just click play, you see it breaks into pieces. How awesome is that? So the next thing we want to do is just give some materials, so just to make the text a little. So if you click Ctrl R, we render that. We see it's just plain orange, gray. So we can come here, we can either choose color or some texture. When you click on this button, the texture, let's say I use this one, I'll just click OK. So I want to add some little bit of texture just to make things interesting. So I can drag that to the YouTube, or you can just come and drag it here to the text, so it just makes it a little bit interesting. You can create another material, and this time we can use color. I want to show you the different methods. So you can choose to use color, drag the slider to the right, so you have the color, and so we just drag down to the plane. Okay, so we have that. So when we play it, wow, it breaks down into pieces. But now we can make things a little bit more interesting. So now, instead of this just standing there, the plane, we can just add a little bit of let's start with wind. So when we add wind to it, just drag the wind into the landscape, so you make it a child of the landscape. So when we play that, go back and play, so it breaks into pieces and shatters. So now on the winds, with the wind selector, we can readjust how we want the plane to move about, and so we can select that. It works like that. So let's just create a little bit of contrast, this color, so it doesn't look exactly the same. I don't know if this looks good. Let's see. You think this is good? Leave a comment down in the description so I know which color to work with. Okay, so we have that there. Okay, so there you have it. We have a simple, nice animation, just goes and all of this. So if you click Ctrl L, we can render that. So now, but also what we can do, we can just add some lighting just to make things a little bit more interesting and more realistic. So my light is selected, you can drag that and just bring the little bit up, so it looks more lively and more real. So the light is, yes, maybe put that there. We select that and it breaks into pieces and then falls down. Okay, so that looks nice, and we can just save our work. The YouTube animation. Okay, so YouTube text animation. So there's more we can do to this. We can add some deformation to it, like some explosion. We can add some explosion to the landscape, and it just breaks into pieces. So you can have that in the beginning, so you can go back to the beginning, and so we have that. When we play that, it brings it, so we can just click on that and drag it and see how it looks like. Okay, so you can make pretty cool ones, and then so that's it. So we can click on the landscape itself and just bring it down, so it doesn't interfere more with the okay. Okay, so the reason why the YouTube is shuttering before the it touches there is because the particles of the explosion, the particles are ready, they have already exploded. Okay, so they're exploding and they are touching the YouTube itself, so that's why it's doing that. Well, so if you can do that, so if you can reduce the randomness of it, and then so it just goes out like that and then comes back, and then we have something that's like look back and go back. So I have YouTube shot as well. Okay, so that's nice. If you render that, it looks good. What else we can do? We can just save. We can just change our settings where we want to save the work. We want to save it as a file. Where do you want to save it? I want to save it here in my renders folder, and I'm just going to put here. This is a animation. So I'm just gonna save it as text animation. Go to the output, and we want to select all frames, and then so that's it. Cancel that. Just click play, and so you wait for the animation to render out. So if the animation is short, it's not gonna take a lot of time, and it won't consume a lot of processing power in your laptop. And so we wait for it. When it's done, okay, so the animation is done. It gives us here our distribution of the color code, the RGB color code. Okay, so we can see the value of it here. So we don't necessarily need that, but we just go unless you want to go a little bit more advanced. So we click open our Explorer and look for where we saved our work. Save it in the programs file in the Cinema 4D and render. So where is it? We have YouTube text animation here. So when we play that, from a simple animation. Okay, so just very simple. So the sky is the limit. You can choose to do whatever you want to do and make it a little bit more interesting and more fun depending on your need. And so I'm just giving the basic now. It depends on you how you want to expand it and make it more interesting. Okay, so subscribe, share the video and like it. So till you next time.